again. Do that again.
3, 2, 1. Sync.
Sync.
There we go.
And we
are back.
Oh, okay. Well,
welcome to Geeks. Episode 4.
Welcome to Geeks. I'm one white guy.
Dude, I got a crazy alfalfa hair going on right now.
He's the other white guy, and we're a podcast.
Okay.
You do have a little bit of alfalfa there.
Look at that. That is gnarly.
I told one of my coworkers that I had a podcast, and he said, "Of course you do."
Is that supposed to be an insult?
I'm a white guy in my mid-20s. Yeah, of course I have a podcast.
I've had 3 podcasts at this point.
Yeah, but you're relatively successful.
In what way?
Also, you have a nice channel, and you're a cool person.
Aw.
So, what have you been up to, my friend? I haven't talked to you since our last podcast.
It has been a bit. Didn't you just go on a trip?
I did, yes. I went to Tampa. I went to Metrocon, where I got a bunch of really cool art pieces, including the one I'm about to show right here.
Ooh. Oh, that's sick as fuck, dude.
Yeah, dude, this is so cool.
That is awesome. And it's a
print.
tapestry, so you don't have to worry about buying a frame.
Yeah. I also got my that Jotaro up there. The little LED Jotaro.
I see. Okay, the LED. I thought you were looking at the Geef poster.
I also got a Power and Denji that you can barely see up there. That I didn't get at the con. I just haven't built that yet, and so it's still in the box. That is a big ass Gundam.
Nice.
But I also got some other art prints in the back that you can kind of see right over here of Chainsaw Man and Hunter x Hunter.
I really want to get some art prints. Actually, I kind of moved away from like the I do like the classic video game art prints. Like I got a Mario Bros.
Oh, I love those so much.
I want to get some Zelda ones.
But sorry, go ahead.
I mostly want to get more band posters, and the best posters are at the concerts. And they're all out in my living room right now near my record player. But
the only band concerts I have were ones that came with records. I have one of the Hives from their first album that I really like.
Yeah, that's my only Arctic Monkeys poster. It came from one of their records. I went to their show in Georgia. Probably their first time back to the States in...
Was that in the Performance Center in Georgia?
I can't remember where it was. It was like the Lions Bank Arena or something like that.
Yeah, no, different one.
I thought it was going to be in Atlanta. I was completely wrong. But
yeah, mine was in Atlanta. The show I went to in Georgia was in Atlanta. That's why. My camera died for a second.
For Arctic Monkeys?
Yeah, I didn't see Arctic Monkeys there. No, I saw the Sonic Symphony Orchestra.
Oh, shit!
Yeah.
Damn, I wanted to go see that.
It was a lot of fun. The lady that was there, I forgot her name. But the lady that sang the songs that Johnny Gioli usually would did an incredible screamo voice for all the Sonic Frontiers music.
That's awesome.
Yeah, funny little fact.
Oh wait, so you heard Undefeatable?
Oh, I heard Undefeatable. I heard Find Your Flame. I heard Break Through It All.
All right, I'm actually jealous now.
Yeah, no, it was sick. I'll send you the videos later because I took video of those.
Did they record the performance at any of them?
I don't think that they officially recorded it. I'm sure there's probably recordings online that you could find, but I don't think they professionally recorded those live.
Shit.
I could be wrong.
I hope because usually they do. There's like always one that they pick.
Usually for live shows, yeah, but this is also a licensed thing, so I'm not sure. There's probably some bootlegs you can find that are relatively high quality.
I went to the Arctic Monkey show in Georgia last year, and I wanted their exclusive poster because I thought it looked really cool, and I waited in line for an hour and a half at the damn merch booth, and
that's the worst.
It was a 4-line merch booth, so it's like literally luck of the draw, and I was right there, but this one bitch right in front of me couldn't make up her damn mind about what shirt she wanted, and then the next person in the other line got up and they bought one, and I'm like, okay, I can still buy the display, just hurry up and finish your order. But no, literally the minute as it was my turn, half a second, the next girl in line was like, give me the poster, and just like, fuck. So
I'm so sorry,
missed out on that one.
Damn,
they only
that sucks ass.
This was a sold out like arena show, and they only had 500 posters.
That's a little absurd. I'm not gonna lie.
Exactly what I'm saying. Like, listen, I understand that printing costs are expensive, but when you're like in the top 50 most listened to bands on Spotify, you can print more than 500 per show. Okay,
It's also top 50. Holy shit!
right?
It's also like it's a sold out show. That's like thousands of people. You gotta expect that like at least half of those people are gonna buy some kind of merch, and any merch you don't sell there can just be used at the next location.
They did have an interesting way of buying merch at that show. You could actually scan a QR code right next to the booth, and it'll bring you to like a merch shop online, and you can actually purchase some items off the website, and they'll bag it for you and send you a text message when it's ready. You can go pick it up.
Oh, that's dope.
But the poster wasn't one of them. It was a
Damn,
poster
that
and a
actually
few
sucks.
select like tour exclusive shirts. It was only the stuff that was like available on like their online merch site and shit. So if you wanted
sucks.
like an exclusive shirt or the poster, you had to wait in line.
Yeah, I don't see a lot of bigger bands when they come around. It's usually like I'm much more used to seeing like either bands that are past their prime or are just of a smaller niche. So usually it's like bar settings, so it's not usually that bad.
I'm the same exact way, but
Like I just saw Queensryche last March, I think. That was a really fun show. May have permanently damaged my hearing because it was way too loud.
one of the
But it
best
was a good
shows
show.
I ever went to was at a dive bar in Port Orange.
Oh yeah,
And
dude!
I
Dive
got-
bar shows are
They're
so
the best.
good.
I've only ever seen like twerp in a dive bar.
Yep, I saw them at the Crowbar in Tampa.
I saw them at High Dive in Gainesville.
Oh, dude. Okay, I think the best concert I've ever seen, though, best concert, was also at a dive bar. It was in the Orpheum in Orlando. I want to say that was the Orpheum.
Nice.
It was the Proto Men.
I saw them. I saw them on that tour they did with twerp. They're really good.
I was going to, but that was like right as COVID hit its like opus at
Yeah.
the time, and I was like, I don't want to risk it, and I was right too because I found out a week later that I got COVID.
Well, I got to see
So-
Phantom Racer, so I was
Yo,
happy.
Phantom Racer would have been so sick, but
It
at
was
the
so
same
good.
time, it was like I remember that was the tour where I think Twerp basically tweeted, "Florida, you have the worst drivers in the world."
It was them in South Carolina,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
I will full-heartedly agree with them with South Carolina. It is hell, but
But
yeah,
no,
we're
yeah,
pretty
the
bad too.
The Proto Men live was the single greatest concert I've ever been to, and I've seen my second and third favorite bands live before.
How
Sort
many
of,
my
with the third favorite.
on my bucket list? I have like I got to see my top 10 favorite bands. I wonder what I'm at.
Yeah, you know
now.
what? Before we move on to our actual topic,
Yeah.
let's do a gun to your head thing. If you had to choose like 3 bands that you could see live, but they have to be alive today. It can't be like, oh, which shows did you go back in time to see? 3 bands that you want to see before either you or they die. Which 3 bands would it be?
Shit. Well, I've already seen most of them. Is it just like in general, or does it have to be like bands I've never seen before?
Let's say bands you've never seen before.
Okay, bands I have to see before I or they die.
Yeah.
Surfaces. Good Kid. Oh, man, this is tough. Probably the Strokes.
That's a good list. That's a solid list. I'm trying to think. I probably am gonna say Gunship was my number 1 because Gunship's great. I'm trying to look and remember what band I had thought of a band, but I just completely forgot the name of it. Right. Gunship is one of them. They're great. If you haven't heard them before, fantastic. King Gizzard and the Lizard Wizard is probably my second.
They're a trip.
I've heard great things about their live concerts. I think I own more
Oh
records by
shit!
King Giz.
I want to change my last answer. I'm
Oh, yeah?
changing from the Strokes to Boogie Trio.
I don't think I've heard of them.
Oh, that's like a psychedelic funk band.
I always dig psychedelic funk, so I'm down. I mean,
Look
Thank You
up,
Scientist is my second favorite band.
Look up Packing Bags.
I'll check it out.
Oh, it's so
I'll
good.
check it out. And number 3, I want to say Crush 40, but I don't even think they're really alive anymore. like Johnny Jolie and Junson Wah are still around, but they don't really play anymore. So that's a pipe dream. Is it
age, or is it just because like the band just kind of broke up?
I mean, it's because one of them lives in California and one of them lives in Japan, and also their age.
No, so they're just kind of done.
So I'm gonna actually say the Pillows.
Okay.
Who are another Japanese band. But yeah, King Giz, the Pillows, and Gunship. With a runner-up of the Midnight. However, I already have concert tickets to see the Midnight.
Yeah, so. I was gonna say the Hold Up, but I'm already scheduled to see them in October.
Yeah, that's my thing with the Midnight. I'm seeing them in Orlando.
Nice.
In September. I cannot wait for that show. Fun fact: I was supposed to go see them in Orlando last year, and then my buddies planned this big event, and I couldn't go.
Did they flake out?
No, they planned this big thing that everyone had to go to, and I was one of the groomsmen, so of course I had to go.
Damn. That sucks.
It's what it is.
I'm glad you took the good friend route, but damn, that still sucks.
I mean, look. Jokes aside. They came back a year later. They're coming back in September, so I didn't really. I missed a year essentially.
Mm.
I missed them for a year, and that's it. So getting to see them now will be sick. Other than that, one last thing I want to talk about before we move on to topic.
Mm-hmm.
I got a dog.
Show.
Would you like to see him?
Yes.
All right, sure. He's on my bed. Hold on. Just grab him.
Aww. That's still cute, but
It's Conchita.
It's still cute, but I want doggo. Fine.
Yeah, I know.
Don't worry, viewers. I got you. Chili.
Sorry.
Come here, baby.
You're the only dog haver in this group. However, I can show off a cat that isn't mine.
I will show you off to the world. Come here, you big little dingo.
Hey, girl.
Oh, hello. Hello. Say hello to the kitty, Chili.
This is Nala. This is my mother's cat. She sometimes just comes and stays with me. And so we live relatively close to each other. She was just resting. I'm gonna let her go back to what she was doing.
All right. I'm sorry I bothered you from your nap. So now that we've warmed up for our 15 minutes of bullshit, and before we actually, I want to say one more thing about the concerts.
Go for it. Yeah.
There's like one more concert I want to attend, and I just want to. I want to attend it just to see what the appeal is. And that's a Hatsune Miku concert. I just want to see what it's like. Like, there's no way that it's this It's this popular for a reason, and I don't need to know anything. I want to go in completely blind. I've only heard one song by them, and I've like seen bits and pieces of like what the concerts are like, and I'm like, yeah, it looks stupid on the phone, but like maybe like the atmosphere of it all makes it better or something. I don't know, but
Hatsune Miku is such a strange thing.
It is.
It's got that robot has lore.
I know.
And it's like,
it got this big for a reason. I still think it's kind of stupid, but I gotta see what the hype's about to form my final opinion on it. You know.
One of my favorite jokes is just that Hatsune Miku is the gorillas for weebs, and the gorillas are just Hatsune Miku for people who are afraid of anime.
You know, fair enough. And I've been to a Gorillaz concert, and I gotta say, overhyped.
I want to see the gorillas.
Overhyped.
Oh, really? Oh,
really overhyped. It is maybe back then when they first started doing live performances and they had the screens and everything, it would have been sort of cool. But no, going to a Gorillaz concert is like going to a mid-as-fuck Damon Albarn concert, where his vocals are not the greatest live. And he is a crazy motherfucker, though. That man will like basically do whatever the hell you want him to do. And
like the Gorillaz are a performance
he's like
artist.
I will give him that. He brought the energy, like that. God damn it! Thanks, C Cleaner, for popping up on my screen. Anyway, he brought the energy, and he was really interactive with fans. He like got everyone like up and going. Performance-wise, like you're just watching Gorillaz music videos as he plays the songs.
Yeah.
But I will say I was one of the last people to see Feel Good Inc. performed by the original rappers before they unfortunately passed away. So
I didn't know they died.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know. That sucks.
Yeah.
Oh,
it is
I did
terrible.
not know that. Oh, I feel like I just like missed
Literally,
out.
like
I
a
feel
month
sad
later
and
that
I feel like I
happened,
missed
and I'm
out.
like, holy shit! I can't. I'm glad I went now, but like, still overall, meh. It was okay.
Yeah. Man, that's a band I would still love to see just because I respect.
I mean,
the
if
hell
you're
out of
a
the craft.
fan,
By the way,
go.
hey, do you
but,
want
like,
some cuteness real quick?
Yes.
Before
Kitty.
we stop.
Is it a kitty?
It's a little.
Oh, look at them! They're snoozing.
They love to snooze.
They are straight
Yeah,
vibing.
and now you've seen the entirety of my studio apartment. Anyway.
Okay. Today's topic: video game preservation.
Yes.
It is important. It is preservation of art. It is preservation of history. It is preservation of culture. And
Now,
it is a crime how difficult it is to place classic video game content these days.
Now, if you can allow me to play Nintendo's advocate, I think we should burn all those old games and then never re-release them.
I'm going to allow you to explain yourself before.
No, I said I'm a Nintendo's advocate.
Oh, you're playing. Okay, got it.
Yeah, no, I'm playing Nintendo's advocate here. I believe one of the most recent examples of video game preservation being kind of a must nowadays is The Crew. You ever played The Crew?
Like the racing game?
Yeah, the original racing game?
I've seen people play it. Like, I watched my cousin play through it during one summer. And
Ubisoft doesn't want you to ever play it again.
Wait, is that the game that they just pulled from everybody's Steam? And they were like, as a reminder that you don't own your games, despite
pretty much
compensating them for it. Fuck off.
And look, The Crew is like kind of terrible, having been someone who played it back in beta and played the full release.
Racing games were like some of the only games my cousin played, and he said like for what it was and like the amount of time he played it, he said it was okay. But he also picked it up during like a discount or a free weekend. So he didn't really pay for it, so that might have skewed his judgment. But like,
my opinions on The Crew are a bit pedantic. I'll fully admit. Oh God, you can see the bags under my eyes really bad.
Hey man, just means you've been busy.
Ugh, it means I've been not sleeping.
Same.
But yeah, emulation, or sorry, rather game preservation.
Mm-hmm.
So I believe I was talking about The Crew. The Crew is a fascinating game.
I think it has cool ideas. I don't think it was executed the best it could be. And then The Crew 2 went like a completely different direction.
Yeah, which, okay, in hindsight, I'm torn about, right? Okay, so Crew 1 is kind of cringy because it's like Need for Speed. It is about underground racing, right?
I thought it was going to be like Need for Speed, but you could now choose to like, because the whole gimmick was like your car could transform to be off-road and shit, which was a cool idea.
That wasn't The Crew.
That wasn't The Crew?
I think The Crew 2 does that. The Crew 1 is just cars.
Nah, I'm pretty sure there's a thing in there.
No, the Crew 2 is the thing where you can switch to off-road.
All right, well, The Crew's the driving game where you join up with like the V8s. That was like your brother's gang. And
you're a gang.
Like, and
no, your brother
like,
was a
try
cop.
And race your way to the top or some bullshit.
Yeah, and you're trying to like get into the gang's graces, and then one of your brother gets killed, and you have to go get revenge by racing. It's like this is just stupid and silly.
There was a line in that game I did find hilarious, and it was like the radio lady calls to like, hey, driver, how you doing? Horrible. I've been in this car for like 12 fucking hours. I need a shower. It stinks in here.
I just remember getting really mad because I decided, like, as soon as I had freedom to go piss off and drive all the way to New York.
Yeah.
Or, sorry, no, you start in Chicago, I think. I decided to drive all the way to Miami. And, because the whole game is, like, a mangled version of the United States.
Yeah.
That's about as big as one state.
It is a chub version of the USA.
Well, I remember I drove for 30 minutes and made it to Miami and was really excited. And then I crashed my car somewhere and had to reload, and it respawned me in Chicago.
Damn. Doesn't it take
because that was
3 hours to get across that map, too?
It took me 30 to 40 minutes to get to Miami from Chicago.
Jesus.
So, your average trip from one European country to another. But, yeah.
When you're just sitting there playing a game, though, that 30 to 40 minutes feels like hours.
It's like, that was free time you just cost me.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, like, there was something to that old Crew game that I will admit, like, while it was cringy, there was definitely some effort put into it.
Mm-hmm.
The Crew 2 just
it wanted to be
so...
the Horizon series. Let's be real.
It
just
did.
wanted to be the Horizon series.
And Horizon started as a love letter to cars and then felt more corporate with every single sequel.
It did. Horizon 1 and 2 are really fucking good. Probably some of the best racing games I've ever played.
The Crew 2 just starts and continues to be the most corporate thing I've ever played.
Yeah.
Those are two of the only games I can think of in recent memory where when I played them, I had to just turn the voices down because I didn't want to hear their terrible, terrible dialogue.
Yep.
But yeah, like Ubisoft has basically tried to pull the plug on that game. And there is a website right now, I believe, called stopkillinggames.com or stopkillinggames.org.
Mm-hmm.
Let me look that up to be sure. That is basically just about games preservation. Highly recommend checking them out.
There's one organization. It's like their whole deal is just preserving games.
Yeah, stopkillinggames.com. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it like, while the Crew 1 isn't a very good game, that's not the point. The point is that as a piece of art, it should be preserved for future generations to take a look at. There's a reason we preserve all these movies, books, and all this fracking music. It's because they're pieces of art. They're pieces of the artists themselves that get to stay with us for years upon generations, right? Like, shit. I'm still listening to Rush, and that was the 70s. I wasn't even a placenta then.
I do love going back and listening to I have an original pressing of 10 to 6 by Bad Company.
Oh, it's super good.
So fucking good.
But yeah, it's weird with video games because video games are like the only piece of media I can think of that is consistently lost media. Right? Like they're not to say like movies don't ever get lost to time.
I don't think they
or
thought
books.
about the durability of these games when they first started making them, other than the fact that like they just need to run and maybe last a few years because no one knew how far the gaming market was going to go.
Yeah, they're treated so disposably, and that's such a shame.
Because you got the Game Boy cartridges that like tons of the batteries are dying. Yes, they could be changed, but it's such a pain in the dick to do.
I've got a GameCube game right here that within the next like 20 years or so, the disc is just going to rot.
Yeah.
That shit sucks.
It does suck. And God knows like how fucked up these old NES and SNES cartridges are going to get. And then like because these were all given to kids. And kids don't take care of things, all right? They're going to smack them, they're going to beat them around, they're going to drool and shit on them and like it's not good. But again, like it was such a new thing that they didn't know if it was going to last or not. And then it almost died.
And the easiest way of like keeping these games preserved, right? Like keeping these games actually take the code and just re-release it, right? Mm-hmm. Like we've seen games get re-released all the time. I mean, people complain about Silent Hill 2, but like I can play that on my PS3 and PC. Mm-hmm. Right?
Only have the correct PS3, and then you have to.
Actually, no. This is actually worse.
What? Can you not play it on the PS2, PS3?
There is a long history of Konami and a bunch of other Japanese game devs, including Sega. I believe Capcom somehow got around it, but a lot of these Japanese companies in the very like early 90s would just throw out their code.
The fuck? Why would you do
that? It's the reason House of the Dead 1's remake does not feel anything like the old game because they lost all that code. Because code preservation was not really a must. There's no real archival. Do you know? So Silent Hill 2, which is one of the best survival horror games ever made, that source code doesn't exist anymore. The versions that they made for the remake are actually like half emulated and kind of broken. Like the game will just chug randomly. The fog doesn't exist, which the fog is necessary to make the tone, and the voice acting was changed. But the thing is, it was badly changed because you can still hear the original voices under there, just barely.
Yeah.
So it's not even like they just
so it's like a really bad audio remaster.
It's
I bet they only had
port.
the original copy of the game.
It's not even a remaster; it's a port.
Oh shit!
Like it's just really bad, and it's a shame that is the version that's most widely available because you can play that on the PlayStation 3 or 4. I think is on there as well. I could be wrong about the 4 though. And like that game is just lost media unless you dare to delve into emulation, which is a topic I think we should talk about after, because I think the idea of like not documenting your code is very interesting, and I think there's not much nuance to us talking about emulation, so let's get to that a little later.
There's so many games that I grew up with that are very difficult to access nowadays, especially during the 360 era. The only way to play like old rare content from the 360 era and even before is like the rare replay collection or the incredibly shitty port that's on the N64 archives on the Switch, especially for like Banjo-Kazooie.
Wait, which game got a shitty port in the N64 Switch?
Banjo-Kazooie.
Really? Is that version bad?
It's not bad, but you can't change the controls, and trying to play it with the Joy-Cons or the Pro Controller sucks ass.
Well, why don't you just...
No, I'm not buying a goddamn N64 controller. That controller sucks ass. I don't care what anybody says.
It does suck ass.
It is terrible.
To be fair, yeah, no, you're completely right. Mm-hmm. That controller seems kind of sucks. I played through original Paper Mario in there, and there are some issues. Mm-hmm. But at least those games got something. They may not be good, but they have something.
Where's my Viva Pinata? God damn it. I love that game. I love that game so much.
When we first planned this podcast, I want to say this was before that recent Nintendo Direct, because I had a really big argument for where's Marvel 2? Fun fact, if you don't know, Marvel 2 was just lost media for a long time. You couldn't buy it legally anywhere. Like, it used to be the best version of it, like, other than like the Dreamcast version that was available on modern consoles and the Xbox 360, and then was deleted from that store. Just gone. You either had it or you didn't, right? Mm-hmm. And so the only way you can play Marvel 2 is to either emulate it, have an old Xbox 60 or an old copy of the game available, or buy this $600 piece of shit in 2021. Now, thankfully, they're actually re-releasing the games and releasing them in a good state with rollback, unlike this $600 piece of shit.
That doesn't.
It doesn't have rollback. The arcade machine doesn't have rollback. I'm so mad. It has rollback for every other game on there except Marvel vs. Capcom 2.
That's rough.
It's the worst because that's one of my favorite fighting games. But yeah, there's a lot of games out there, especially arcade games. Like, I'm thinking like Time Crisis 4, the only way to play that game is to find someone who hopefully has it in their arcade and hope that arcade machine isn't broken, because they always are.
Yeah.
Playing something like Wild Riders, which I don't even think you remember, but you've definitely played. Because you probably played it at the Chuck E. Cheese.
Oh.
It was the motorcycle game where you had to pull up on the bar and down.
Yes.
Dude, that game is actually unplayable right now, because like either you have to have the arcade machine or you have to find some guy who has a Naomi emulator, who'd have to be crazy, me. But yeah, it's just rough. A lot of art, a lot of that kind of like art media is just treated as disposable, and so unlike movies where I can like go on Internet Archive right now and just type something in and find those movies. Like, I was actually able to find the original Telugu subtitled version of RRR on Internet Archive, which is great because that original language version, the version that's in the native language, is just not available on Netflix for some reason, despite the fact that that's who produced it, apparently, or publishing it in the West. It's like, why don't you have the original version available? It's crazy to me.
I couldn't tell you. It's all corporate bullshit at this point. But there is a crisis. There's a physical media crisis.
Yeah.
They are trying to get rid of it because they want to be able to just shove it away whenever they want. And then,
who is they, Mr.
Whenever people
Ender?
start talking about it again, they want to pull it back out and charge you way more than what it's worth, along with a bunch of their other shitty content. And
who are they, Mr. Ender? Who are they that we're talking about? Is it
anyone really at this point?
The corporations?
At the point, Nintendo, fucking Netflix,
yeah,
fucking what are they called? Warner Brothers.
Yeah, physical media is just dying in general, and that kind of sucks. It's why, like,
Ubisoft is like desperately trying to do any shitty tactic it can to get you on their fucking subscription plan.
The terrible subscription service for all the games you don't care about.
EA started that bullshit.
Oh man, it's why I stopped using Game Pass, because I don't like this.
Oh god, Game Pass just took a hit today. Everything about it
I
changed.
saw that.
All the
saw
price
the
hikes,
increase.
all the fucking content that's now going to be
This is going to date this. This is going to date this exact episode, because this episode is recorded the exact day that happened.
July 10th, Xbox Game Pass became a pretty decent deal to a shitty subscription service like all the other ones. And
to be fair,
I've gotten 3 price hikes on HBO Max this year.
Oh god,
3.
Fuck HBO Max. HBO Max stopped being good as soon as they got rid of all the Cartoon Network stuff. They
keep putting on Adventure Time content, and it keeps me around.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
It's my favorite show.
I might know of another streaming service you could watch that on.
Oh no, I bought the box set.
I
bought the box set for Adventure Time because I did not want to be at any point restricted from my favorite show.
So. I need to watch Adventure Time.
It's so good. I'm gonna be real. You can skip the first 2 seasons. The only thing that happens in the first 2 seasons is that Finn finds the Enchiridion. That is the only lore piece from that fucking.
Yeah, but I actually like the Monster of the Week episodic stuff more than I like the serial stuff.
That's fair. But everybody who I try to get to watch Adventure Time watches like the first season. Is like, there's nothing going on. It's just a bunch of dumb shit happening. Like, yeah, that's kind of the point. They didn't know.
I know the feeling.
Yeah, but I really love the first 2 seasons. They're fun.
I've tried to convince people to watch X-Men the animated series. This one's for you, Morph. Man, X-Men 97 is so good. It's so good. Anyway, but yeah, there is a real epidemic with physical media just kind of going to the wayside. I mean, even like bigger companies that aren't usually one for like shittier practices like this, like I mean, freaking Sega. Like Sega's stupid, but I wouldn't say they're really like straight up evil, like a lot of companies are.
I just don't think they're.
But like. Yakuza Like a Dragon didn't even get a physical release.
Shit, really?
To my knowledge. Yeah, I believe Like a Dragon, or not Yakuza Like a Dragon, sorry. Like a Dragon Gaiden, the man who erased his name, didn't get a physical release.
Damn.
I think 8 did get a physical release, but I could be wrong about that. It's just a shame that like a lot of these really good games are just going to get tossed to the wayside.
Or they're going to be released as a limited thing.
Yeah.
And, it's Super Mario 3D All-Stars. Not even the best collection of 3D Mario games, but it's like...
I would have no problem with 3D All-Stars. Like, look, there's some shitty ports. I'll be real. Like, the only port on that whole collection that I think is any good is Galaxy.
It's actually a really decent port. I played through all of Galaxy again, and I didn't have a single problem.
Like, Sunshine kind of feels bad because they didn't improve the frame rate at all.
No.
And you know they could.
Yeah. Am I the only one that
did it with Skyward Sword?
Am I the only one that feels that the 64 port on the 3D All-Stars thing like feels a little off? Like
I don't think I even played it. Like
it's like a little sluggy. It doesn't feel as like precise as it did on the 64. But even then, like I either gotta hold the schlong controller to play it the right way, or I gotta deal with the fucking mild.
Yeah, one hand on each side, one in your mouth.
Yep.
But you know, it's I would have no problem with that. Like, if they didn't say it was a limited edition thing.
Yeah.
Like, the whole limited edition thing is such a shitty FOMO practice that I just don't think should ever be supported in a real space, because frankly speaking, it is a really shitty way to promote your video game, is to say it'd be limited, and I would hate to support that.
Yeah, I bought it digitally.
We've established I'm the problem.
I'm part of the problem as well, because I hardly ever buy physical games anymore.
I just want them to put these kind of games out more physically. And to be fair, Nintendo has been getting better about re-releasing their old shit.
Their remakes are very solid.
Their remakes have been pretty much bangers
like
so far.
The Metroid Prime remake.
Oh my god, Metroid Prime!
Fucking
holy shit!
Probably one of the best remakes I've ever played. Holy shit!
God,
it
that
looks
remake
exactly how you remember it when you were a kid. Like,
my only problem with the remake, and it's not a problem with the remake as much as me being pedantic. Like, I feel like Metroid Prime 1 aged really well. Like the original, like I think it still looks incredible. A little dated maybe, but I think it still looks incredible.
Don't watch my video. Don't watch my Game Bracket episode.
Oh no! Oh
don't watch it. I will fully defend the people that like criticize me. I played that game like a fucking moron.
Metroid Prime 1 original or the remake?
The original, I didn't really get that far into because I was a dumb kid, and I was only able to play it at my friend's house who had a GameCube and I did not. But I think I got like halfway through the game at my friend's place, and then I never was able to play it again. And then I bought it for the re-release. I'm like, damn, this looks exactly like I remember it as a kid. But then I looked at side by side, and I'm like, shit, it's massively different. But they remade it in such a way that it just looks so damn good.
Yeah, no, there is a real art to remaking a game and keeping the original intention. That is so difficult. Because you can do like a Silent Hill 2 remake or a Metal Gear Solid 3 remake. Or I shouldn't say Metal Gear Solid 3 remake because it's not out yet, so I don't know if it's true. But you can just put a new coat of paint on it to make it look really pretty and lose the original intention of
You can up the resolution and the frame rate and call it a day.
And lose
people
everything.
Will still fucking buy it.
But the thing is, like, if you're like updating the art style, you have to make sure it keeps that original intention, like the original mood, theming. Silent Hill 2 Remake very much does not do that. And a lot of the re-releases and ports kind of screw that up.
I think a lot of it has to do with, like, the technology they're re-releasing it on is way more advanced, and it wasn't designed for that hardware. So when you just up the resolution and the frame rate, it fucks up everying, and it makes it feel really bad. It's like,
the PS2 is a nightmare to, like, port, because 99% of that code is, like, tied to the frame rate.
Yeah.
So games like Sly Cooper, which just got re-released in the PS4 and PS5 as a Classics Collection port, are kind of broken in some of those mini games.
Yeah.
Because they're tied to the frame rate. So the rhythm game parts of them are just completely busted. But like other than that, like I mean,
I'm sure the Paper Mario remake was really good.
Oh,
you were shitting yourself over it for a good while.
Oh, we want to talk about me being the problem. Buddy, I've bought this game twice.
That's not... Okay, over the span of how that game has been, I wouldn't say that's necessarily a problem, especially with the way that Nintendo remade it. Like,
I did that, but I pre-ordered the European copy and sent it to a European friend of mine because it came with a full papercraft version of the stage that you fight on.
That's just being nice. That's not a problem.
And then I bought the American copy so that I could play it day one because I still don't have that European copy yet. I'm just going to give my American copy to a buddy of mine because I know they've wanted to take a look at it for a while. That remake's incredible. It's become the new bar by which I hold all remakes. You want to talk about keeping the original intention? God damn. I asked for one of two things. Don't touch that dialogue at all, or just spiff up Vivian, because Vivian is a character that is canonically trans and was censored in the West.
I love trans.
But no, she's actually given her correct identity now. And other than that, there's very minor changes to dialogue.
See, that is a super cool move. You kept the original story and released it everywhere as it was. And just
touched up a little bit. Like characters have more animations now.
Yeah.
The music's a little spiffed up, but even then, if you don't like the new music, there's a badge you get near the beginning of the game. that you can just put on, and it replaces the music with the GameCube original music.
Nice. Yeah, you told me about that. That is really cool.
Every game should do that.
No, I will praise the remastered versions of Halo 1 and 2 because of the on-the-fly swap back and forth to the original to new graphics. I think that is the coolest fucking thing.
It's really neat. The problem is, like, Halo 2 Remake, I do think looks really good.
Yeah.
Halo 1 Remake
it looks
is a great example of, like, kind of losing the plot. Mainly because, like, I mean, there are much smarter people who've made videos on this topic that I've seen a million versions of, and I think they're really well made. Mm-hmm. But it loses a lot of that fidelity, the charm,
they just play it on the original settings.
Objects. Yeah, that's the thing, is you can't play it on original settings, which is a very nice feature. Like, the swapping between the two is awesome.
Yeah.
I wish the remake got a little more of a touch up.
Like the newer settings or the newer graphics.
Dude,
it doesn't look the best, and I will give you that.
It's not even that it doesn't look the best, it's that it's like functionally different. Like, for example, like geometry has changed. Mm-hmm. So sometimes you'll shoot nothing, but like it'll actually hit a tree because the tree's a lot bigger in the original version, and the hitboxes are the same. Well, the worst one by far is on the level where you get to the flood for the first time.
Yeah.
There is a wall that just straight up isn't there in the original version, but in the remake version there's a massive wall you can just walk through.
That's hilarious.
It
is sloppy,
weird.
But that is hilarious.
It's sloppy as hell. But then again, that's kind of been Microsoft's thing with Halo after 3.
Yeah.
Sorry, after Reach.
I still thought, like, playing through 2, Anniversary, I thought was really good. I thought it was
2 Anniversary I have no problems with. I have problems with the multiplayer, but that's it.
Oh, that was completely bastardized and fucking terrible. It's like, here's this really shitty remake of the Halo 2 multiplayer that feels nothing like Halo 2. It is worse than every single other Halo multiplayer we've ever released in the past, and also it feels like shit to play. Have fun.
I mean, it's better than Halo 5, but that's not saying much.
Halo 5 wasn't bad. It wasn't great.
Halo 5. I despise Halo 5.
I don't think it's the greatest either, but I will not say it is worse than the Halo 2 remake multiplayer.
I want to go the way of George Lucas with the Star Wars Christmas special, another piece of media that's been lost to time, and go out with a hammer and destroy every piece of Halo 5. For legal reasons,
to learn from your mistakes, which 343 refuses to do. But
yes, for legal reasons, that's a joke. Despite the fact I think Halo 5 is a steaming piece of shit, I do think that it is worth preserving as an art piece, because even if it's bad, it's still worth taking a look at to see the unique ideas of the creators behind it.
I think the
even
Spartan
if they were
Ops
bad
mode
ideas.
was really good. I thought that was fun.
I thought it was really good in Halo 4.
Wasn't in 4 too?
I think it was only in 4.
They feel so similar to one another. It's kind of hard to see. I played Halo 4 after a long time. Game sucks ass.
It's just not great, but it has a better campaign than 5.
Very true.
And Infinite.
I'd say they're about the same.
For
different reasons, but both reasons put them around the same in my opinion. But that we could talk about Halo at different time. But
or I could just get all my Halo thoughts out right now. Halo 1, 2, 3, and Reach are about a war. Halo 1, 2, and 3, you're the avatar for the war, and you're basically just watching the war through Master Chief's eyes. You don't need Master Chief to have character moments because he's not a person. He is a stand-in for you. Halo Reach was a character story, and it's incredible. Halo ODST is also a character story, and it's incredible. Halo 4, 5, and Infinite are all character stories about Master Chief. How do we characterize Master Chief?
He doesn't have a fucking personality.
No, he does have a personality. He has mommy issues. He has mommy issues.
He does.
And we're going to lean into mommy issues. Halo 4 is like, my mommy is dying. Halo 5 is, my mommy's alive. And then Halo Infinite is like, my mommy is also my daughter.
Ew. Ugh. That's gross.
Look, I love a good character-driven story, but you should probably make sure your characters are like worth following in their story before you give them the whole story. I still stand by the fact that I wish Halo 4, 5, and Infinite started Spartan Locke.
I can see that.
I don't like Locke, but I don't like Locke because of how they showed him off in 5. You could have made him a much more interesting character if we were following him from the beginning. It's the same problem with like Abby in Last of Us 2. I would like Abby a lot more if we had gotten her perspective first.
Yeah.
Because her story's fascinating in the context, but like if you give her no context, she just kind of seems boring.
So, moving on, emulation. Yeah. I have a very on the fence opinion on emulation. I am all for it if it is the most economically sensible way to play the game, meaning you don't have to spend $300 on a retro console, another $300 on the game itself, and then play it. If you have the ability to play it, especially in like tough times like these, there's no way I'm going to go out and buy all this bullshit to play one game, and when I could easily get it all offline and even have like mod support for it if it's one of those games, because the modding scene for Budokai Tenkaichi 3, fucking insane.
Dude, there's a competitive Sonic Riders scene that is incredible.
Sonic Riders has some of the coolest fucking tech ever. I love it.
If we want to talk about like the greatest modding scenes, Mario 64 is like the peak.
Yeah.
Of like old classic modding.
Mm-hmm.
Like if we're not just talking like levels or just changes to gameplay, they've basically changed the entire game. They've made that shit into an RPG. They've made it into a first-person shooter. There's a multiplayer mod that looks like a lot of fun. So I'm not as on the fence as well. First of all, I'm relatively in game development, despite the fact that my solo dev career has been painfully non-existent. Mm-hmm. But I've worked with people who have gone on to be very successful game devs. I've talked to people and worked with others who are already very successful game devs. So I have a little bit of insight on this, I feel.
I'm very
when we talk about emulation, like if you're downloading the ROMs off a site, like for a game you don't own, I'm not going to beat around the bush. That is technically piracy, right? You are essentially downloading a digital version of something you do not own. You did not pay for it. You did not pay for it, yada, yada. That being said, I believe Hakita, the head dev for Ultra Kill, said it best in a thread in which someone was talking about how they love to pirate indie games. Talked about how he was pirating Ultra Kill. He said, go for it. Art is not made for only the rich. Money should not keep you from experiencing art. If you're giving me money, I want it to be because you're supporting me. I want it to be because you legitimately believe that my art is worth something and you want to put it forward. It's why like Bandcamp offers that pay what you want system for a lot of their things. Because frankly speaking, people do need to get paid, but at least for me, and I know not every dev feels like this, and you shouldn't take this as I speak for every video game dev, because that's not true, right? There are definitely people who are more financially incentivized and need that cash flow, need you to get that money in. But at least for people like me, I'm in it for the love of the game. I do hope I make money, don't get me wrong. I would like to be successful. But I would rather know that people are experiencing the art I made and get that piece of my soul that I've put into it. I would rather that like a million times over than like whatever small financial gain I get. And not to ruin this touching speech, I have tied my leg.
You've tied your leg.
I was messing around with the little ties on my pants, and I've tied my leg. This is not a joke. I am legitimately stuck. I don't know why I did that.
I don't know how to respond to this.
I don't know either. I'm stuck. This is not a bit. This is not a bit. I wish
know.
It was a bit.
You've shown me that it's not a bit.
Yeah, it's like freaking like my leg is
I believe
stuck.
I love the crotch POV.
Thank you. I'm very proud of it. I'm just gonna use my my Sekiro tiny katana.
Is that even sharp?
No, it's a letter opener.
Yeah. Okay.
Use it to put a hole in it. But no, yeah, like if the way I also see it is that if it is let's talk about like Geist, right? Geist is a GameCube game, GameCube first-person shooter that is not really available anymore. The devs have been paid. They put out their game. They're working on other projects. They're not receiving a dime from sales anymore because there are no more new copies of Geist.
Right.
By pirating the game or emulating the pirated version of the game, you have lost them no money. You've lost them no time. At worst, you are bypassing some licensing laws. Realistically, who cares? I'm fairly certain they'd be happy to know that you were playing the game. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, if you can support a dev and give them money for their game, please do. Like, I'm not saying like, oh, who cares? There's no ethical consumption of capitalism. You freaking go like steal everything. Like, no, just because there is no ethical consumption of capitalism doesn't mean that that you should just steal everything. No, like, video games are an art form. Art deserves to be experienced. But if you have that ability to support the artist you love, do it, because if you don't support your artists, they aren't going to be able to do more art.
Right. Your whole speech kind of reminded me of a bit in South Park. And it was
which bit was that?
It was the one where Cartman breaks off from the band that he went and started with Stan, Kyle, and Kenny to race to get a platinum album first. And while Cartman went off and made a Christian band and got super popular,
of course he did. Of course he did.
I recommend you watch the episode because it's funny on more than one subject. But
South Park's always just been great.
It's super funny.
Like, they're not always on point, but when they are,
it's great. But
just Kino.
So during this competition, Stan, Kyle, and Kenny actually are like, if we're going to make a super cool album that's going to go platinum, we need to get some inspiration. But how are we going to get money to buy music? It's like, and Kenny's like, oh, you can just download that shit off the internet. And so they spend like, they download a shit ton of music, like Stevie Wonder, Creed, like all the top artists around that time. And the cops immediately break into their house. It's like, you know what you're doing to these famous musicians? How dare you? And they like take them to all these mansions. It's like, you see that? That artist was hoping to buy a third plane for his son, and now thanks to you downloading their music, they have to wait another month.
Weird Al did a parody of We Are the World called "Don't Download the Song." That was basically the same thing, where it's like, we need to afford the third yacht. It's just like stuff like that. It's like, yeah, no, it's like, look, like, not all artists are struggling, but a lot of like indie artists.
I'm getting to it.
Sorry.
Yeah,
You're getting to
there's more to this comedy bit, although it starts off like that. So they're like, damn, how are we gonna make a platinum album if all the music we release is just gonna get downloaded and stolen anyway? We're gonna protest. So it's like they start protesting, they don't make any music, and then like all these other bands start like joining the whole movement, and they're just sitting there saying like, we will not play if like you guys keep downloading music. But at the end of it, they're like, well, shit, Cartman got really successful, and sure, there was probably people that stole his music, but he still made it, and he actually like made an impact. Now it didn't end that way, but you got to watch the episode for that. But the whole point of this bit was like, and we just sat around and did nothing. Shouldn't we be happy that there are people listening to our music rather than buying it? Like, isn't that the whole, like, we started this for the music, like you were saying, like, with the Ultra Kill Dub, like, I put this out there for you to enjoy, and you should only, like, and if you feel like you want to support me, then support me. Basically, it loops around to that same bit. It's like, their whole point was like, yeah, people are going to steal our music, but if they like it, that was the whole point we started the band anyway, right? Because we wanted to make music and have people listen to it.
And the worst thing in the world to me as a pretentious artist,
Me
is
too.
to make an art piece and just have it burn away forever, just gone, like to never be experienced by future generations or anyone. That is the saddest thing in the world to me. I would rather be broke than be forgotten. Like,
I don't have a problem
it's
paying
just
for
easy.
video games. I really don't. But if the cost of entry is like astronomical, or I am just not given the option to, especially on modern hardware, and I want to play these games, I'm gonna take the route that's gonna cost me not an arm and a leg, and I could still enjoy it. Like the only games I've emulated are like Pokemon games, because like who hasn't at this point, and a couple PS2 games that I could not get my hands on.
The way I see it is, if I can't own your game, if I can't purchase your game from the devs themselves and would have to go with some like shady third party to get it, then I technically can't steal it by downloading a copy. Yeah. So I didn't steal Geist. I preserved Geist. Or rather, someone else preserved it and then redistributed it.
There we go.
And despite your thoughts, Nintendo, this is not stealing from your bottom line, you hicks. This is
that the argument they made to Legacy?
Oh
content?
yeah, no, Vimslayer got like most of their Nintendo ROMs taken off.
Oh yeah.
Which sucks because a lot of those games are just unplayable. Hey, do you want to play Metroid Prime 3 before Metroid Prime 4 comes out? Yes, I would like to. It's a shame, really.
Yeah.
That I have no easy way of playing it.
Didn't they already announce that they were re-releasing 2?
I don't think they announced anything about 2.
I thought I saw something about that.
They announced 4.
I know they announced 4 finally, but I think there was like something. No, I think it was part of like the fucking Game Boy thing. It's like Metroid 2. Or something.
Yeah, Metroid Zero Mission was coming to Game Boy. The Game Boy thing, which is a good game.
It is.
But like, man, I would really like if I'd be able to play Metroid Prime 2 and 3 on my Nintendo
I'd really
Switch
like to
or
buy
Hunters.
digital copies of these games like we could before on Virtual Console and eShop. But no, you want to put everything behind your fucking subscription price wall.
99% of games that came out in the DS are never going to be properly re-released, and that sucks.
That does suck.
There's some good shit on there.
I think with the new, this is just speculation. I think the new, after looking at like the blueprints for the supposed new Nintendo console that they're going to release next year, I think it has 2 screens, which would have the possibility of some proper DS ports. But
I don't think that's going to be a thing, dude. That sounds made up. I'm not going to lie.
It might be.
I mean, it's Nintendo leaks, so anything could be made up or real or whatever. Dude, who knows? I thought the 2DS was
From what I saw, it was like the blueprints where it was like 2 screens that could like attach and detach from one another. That was the whole thing around it. Whether if it was true or not, I don't know. But that is the only thing I've seen about the supposed next Nintendo console.
Time will tell.
Time will tell. Tell pretty soon too, because
it
feels like we just started this year and it's already July.
Yep.
Which is wild.
God, it is already July. I'm gonna be. You know what's even crazier? By the time episode 5 gets started, I'm gonna be 26.
I'm already 26.
Damn.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
I turned 26 in March.
I turned 26 in 2 weeks.
It's not as bad once it finally hits you.
I feel like it gets worse.
No. I became afraid of aging at 23. And then once I hit 26, I'm like, well, I'm here. I guess there's no reason to give a shit about it anymore.
Yeah, it's what it is. I've already started my midlife crisis, if you couldn't tell by my hair.
Your quarter life crisis.
Who knows? The amount of sugar I put into my body? Who knows?
It's all good, brother.
But yeah, that's basically the TLDR. If I can't legally buy it anywhere, then I am not stealing it by downloading it. If you re-release it, absolutely, I'll buy that shit.
It's not like
I'm
going to
buy 4 copies of Marvel vs. Capcom 2 when they re-release it.
It's not like I can walk down to the fucking Walmart and pick up a physical copy for a PS2 game, or order on. You can find them on Amazon, but you're basically buying them from a reseller at this point.
Yeah.
There's no more being manufactured. Not even the original hardware they're meant for is being manufactured. So you're setting us all up for this in the end.
Yeah.
If it's going to become too difficult to get, people are going to find a way to get it regardless.
Yeah. And this is not to say like if you rebuy games you're stupid, because that's not true.
No.
Like
some
people just like to have
yeah.
I wouldn't own like so many GameCube games like on my shelf right now if I didn't care about having the original copy, right? Like I have a physical copy of Sega Bass Fishing right here for the Dreamcast.
I think my smoke alarm just went off.
Oh, that's a shame.
Yeah.
Beep. But no, it's what it is. Like like I'll admit that is a privilege to be able to get that game right now. Because first of all, you have to. Yeah, I could hear it that time. Uh-oh. Think he heard all of that song.
I did.
And I hope he doesn't take it wrong.
Not at all.
Anyway,
I have no idea what's going on.
Nothing. I blame chili.
My first thought was like, fuck, I left the oven on or something. Because I made some stuff on the stovetop, but no, my oven was off. I didn't smell any smoke. None of my appliances are like going haywire. I think either my battery's low or something's going on.
Either way, but yeah. So,
but no, I love physical copies.
Yeah.
Especially like the first thing I bought a refurbished PS2, and the first thing I did was buy a hard copy of Budokai Tenkaichi 2. Because that was like one of my favorite games growing up.
It's like I found out how to essentially mod my PlayStation 2 so I can play games off of my computer hard drive. Because you can actually hook it up over a virtual network to essentially use that as a hard drive and stream games directly off your PC hard drive while you're playing the PS2. And that's such an awesome way of being able to play a lot of these old games that you just can't get on the original hardware. It's awesome. Though,
I need you to teach me how to do that.
I'm still gonna grab original PS2 games whenever I have the chance.
Mm-hmm.
Because I just like having that piece of history and fun. You see, like, if I stole this, well, this is a limited physical copy, right?
Mm-hmm.
But, like, if I'm just playing the game off of, like, my hard drive, I didn't take anything. I'm not able to buy it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that's, the modern state of video games in such, like, shambles where
it is,
like, the corporations versus the artists.
It's media. It's just media in general at this point.
It really is, but, like, video games have this... Video games are, like, such a much more difficult media to, like, get across the waves.
Yeah.
Like, I can think of a million sites I can watch movies on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I can think of a million places I could stream music from. Most of them, like, not even illegally.
I think it's like that because video games have become so profitable. It is the most profitable entertainment.
And yet, it's still treated as, like, second and third fiddle to movies and music as far as media.
It's because of the generational gap between these. At least I'd say that's part of it. Because I could still talk to my mother and my grandparents about video games, and they're still gonna look at me like, why do you waste your time doing that?
Yeah, it's a shame, really. Like, whenever I'm not gonna be like, us gamers are actually the most oppressed minority. But what I am gonna say is, it is a shame that, like, as for such an incredible art medium as it is, like, I'm not gonna go out and, like, say, like, Donkey Kong is this fine art that everyone needs to experience. I'm not Brandon Rogers, not Brandon Rogers, Tim Rogers. I'm not Tim Rogers. I'm not gonna go on a 3-hour rant about Pac-Man, which you should watch Tim Rogers' videos. Action Button reviews are fantastic.
I'll look into it.
But like, there are a lot of games that have touched me in ways that have deeply affected me.
Same.
I mean, playing Journey for the first time was such an incredible experience. Like, the idea that a game could be deeper than its base mechanics, that it could be trying to use its medium to say something. Final Fantasy VI is legitimately emotional, and that game's just pixels and bleep bloopy noises.
Every time I've played through Gris, I still tear up.
Yeah.
Just based off how beautiful the art is and the music. Like, everything in that game artistically is designed so well to just overwhelm you with emotions. It's that, and I played it during a very difficult time in my life. Yeah. And so there's probably that as well going in. But even then, like,
and there's this bit of shame I feel video games have where they're trying to play second fiddle to movies. And you can see this a lot with, like, a lot of top video game creators are trying to emulate movies. I mean, Last of Us,
you got Kojima. That was like his main inspiration for
David Cage.
Yeah. He wanted to make movies.
The difference between, like, David Cage and Kojima is, first of all, David Cage got David Bowie, which is still the saddest thing in the world to me. But like, Kojima doesn't want to make a movie video game. He wants to make a video game like his movies. Like, David Cage is basically trying to make a interactive movie, whereas Kojima does care about the video game medium. Like, interactivity and puzzle solving and problem solving are integral to the video game experience.
Right.
And he wanted to blend that with a more cinematic story. So what you get is a lot of pretentious bullshit that is nonsense because it's a Kojima game.
Yep.
But also stuff that feels so sincere and in love with its own medium. Like, when I play a Kojima game, like, it's obviously, like, kind of jerking off Hollywood a little bit, but it never feels like it's embarrassed to be what it is. You know? Like,
it does own it. It owns itself. Like
Last of Us 2 is a really good video game that I don't care for very much, because it almost feels like it would rather be the TV show.
Mm-hmm.
You know? And this is weird because the TV show wasn't even a thing yet. But, like, I feel like Last of Us, the TV show, almost like it wishes it was always that. Which is a shame, because I feel like Last of Us 1 especially.
But the video game
beautiful.
Part of The Last of Us allowed it to be its original vision, right?
Yeah.
Because when you want to cast your show, you know, you got to find the actor, and if the actor looks like the guy but is a shitty actor, or vice versa, it's like, it's a nightmare. And it's never going to... I feel like a video game could be like your most pure form of your show if you want it. If, like, visual-wise. Gameplay-wise, that's a different can of worms, but, like, visual and story-wise, you can basically, like, remove it from your head and put it on the screen.
The perfect video game to me is the kind of game that can show you without telling you too much.
Mm-hmm.
Can have a really deeply interesting and complex story, but also doesn't compromise the gameplay for it.
Right.
Like, it's willing to it's not like, oh, this part is the this part's the watch it part and this part's the fun part. It's all interwoven. Like, the cool part is also the fun part.
Mm-hmm.
And the fun part has the story in it. Like, that's the best kind of game. Personally,
take Death Stranding, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, it was meant to be, like, with Kojima's work in the past, obviously it was going to be more on the cinematic side.
And I love Death Stranding.
Everybody criticized it at the beginning because, like, oh, you just walk. But you're also taking that argument of, like, sure, that's part of the experience, and it was misunderstood at the time. It was blah, blah, blah. You can make whatever argument you want about it. The divide at that point was story versus gameplay. You could have, like, at what point does the director need to understand, like, you are taking this story and you have to keep your audience engaged in a form that they are the one pushing it forward, not you, right?
Well, let me take an unbiased opinion on Death Stranding real quick. I only like it a little bit.
Every episode, you got some collectible related to the fucking...
I just pull some shit out.
Yeah. All my shit's in the other room. I can't do that.
That's the lucky thing of having only one room. I hate it here.
Jesus.
Anyway, but yeah.
But you got a movie director that wants to make a video game who has never made gameplay, and then you also got like a game designer that knows everything about gameplay but never told a fucking story in their life. It's like you're dealing with two mediums, and you got to find a way to mesh them together. And I feel like it takes a very, very a team or a very skilled individual to make something like that happen. Like
I think Death Stranding was the perfection of what Kojima was trying to do with Metal Gear Solid 5, right? Like Kojima wanted interactivity and player choice to be up at the forefront with both games. He wanted players to have complex problems that they had to find their own way around to solve in very open, roundabout ways, right? Gives you a lot of tools to play with.
Right.
The difference between how they interact with their story is pretty much everything you do in Death Stranding is tied into the overall plot or theme of the game. The idea of being in a disconnected world and trying to create connections and be personal with other people. The idea of all coming together while being diverse and different, forming to serve one common goal. It was able to tell that through the gameplay with very little of it. Like most of it's like kind of chaff thrown into like text bits, right? Which were usually nice little breaks that you could read through real quick because they usually aren't very long. And just some good stuff. I will still never forget the end of the pizza side quest line, which just killed me. I was dying at that reveal. Which I won't spoil. You should play Death Stranding if you haven't. Metal Gear Solid 5. Metal Gear Solid 5 is such a good game gameplay-wise, and it gets none of this, nearly none of this, like, discourse. Or at least it was more niche, the discourse, because the gameplay was excellent and was constantly going. But the story is, like, really just in the background. Like, you barely know what's going on half the time. Which is a shame, because the Metal Gear game is usually known for its story.
Yeah.
And it's like the story, you have to like go into your shitty little Walkman, you have to choose one of the tapes, and not all the tapes are as good as the others. And I'll be real, if I could have just read through those and like had the voice in the background, that would have been so much better for me personally. But I don't know, I'm weird. I'm the kind of guy who doesn't really watch anime anymore because it's just faster to read a manga.
Fair enough.
I feel like we've gone off the beaten path.
Oh, we have. Definitely. Yeah. But, you know, that happened. That's to be expected at this point.
You should pirate Boktai on the Game Boy Advance. They're never going to release that shit again. That's a Kojima game.
Well, if I can get us back on topic just a little bit. Recently I've been playing through Persona 3 Reload.
Yeah.
And I got to say, it is one of the best remakes I've played, but it was released in probably the worst way possible. Because you lead on your audience for years with the release of Persona 4 Golden coming to all platforms. Probably the best version of that game. And it was a pretty decent port. But then you only release Persona 3 Portable in your escapade of releasing old content. And if you've ever played Persona 3 Portable and compared it to Persona 3 FES, it sucks ass. It's terrible. It is a slideshow with a okay JRPG in it. It is.
So that's actually my favorite version of Persona 3.
Well, more power to you.
I haven't played Reload. So.
It's really good, but it was released really bad because not only did it release with a new standard price $70, it didn't have...
which is such a great practice.
Yeah. For a remade game that's over 20 years old at this point.
Like, look, games are going to go up in price. We knew that forever. Like, that's just because of what it is.
Yeah. And if you play,
you
can tell
the content.
It was remade from the ground up really well. It is so cool to finally see all these characters with like full models. They look good. The game runs great. It feels and looks like Persona 3 just with a really good makeover. But then they released the answer as a $35 DLC.
That's $35?
$35.
Holy shit, that's half the game!
On top of the $70 price tag.
I understand that if it was like Iceborne or Erdtree, where
this was already made and released as a full version years ago, and you cut it up and sold it separately at astronomical pricing.
That isn't just like cruel. That's embarrassing.
Yeah,
that is so sad. Oh my god.
But I can't deny, it's a damn good remake. But
hey, look, you showed your support. You showed your support for the games you love.
I bought the base game during this summer sale. I only paid like $35 for it, so I didn't pay full price for it.
Yeah.
But I didn't buy it with the answer. My thing was going to be like, all right, I'm going to play this, I'm going to beat it, and then I'm going to buy the answer. But I remember I almost said his name. Fucking DeCabriel and I, like the minute I saw that $70 price tag, I'm like, I am no longer pre-ordering this game. I am not going to buy it at launch. I am waiting for that shit to go on sale. I am not paying $70 for this. And I love Persona. Persona 5 Royal is one of my favorite games of all time.
I love Persona 5. It's a very fun game. I don't love it as much as I did when I first played it, but it's very good.
So yeah, that was kind of a shot in the foot that
yeah,
I recently went through.
We should probably start wrapping this up.
Yeah.
Because I feel like we've covered just about every topic we could involving emulation, game preservation,
to wrap things all up on my opinions, I believe the preservation of video games is important in both a historical and artistic standpoint. The fact that it is very difficult to play retro content, whether it's being hidden behind paywalls, being flat out ignored, and also just very difficult to get physical copies nowadays because, everything is being overpriced to hell and back, but also people, resellers are just as shitty because they know you want it and they will charge you every dime they can fucking get out of you because they know you want that fucking nostalgia. Nostalgia is such a heavy hitter in the market today, and it is being abused to hell and back, and it is really sad. So emulate if it is the best way for you to experience a title. If you want, I definitely agree with your point, Meeks, that support the artist, don't support the corporation. If it is a game that you want to play and you want to support, then support. If it is a game that you want to play and support, but there's no longer any money to be made in the game, get it however you can. But also respect the craft, and everyone quit being shitty about it.
Yeah, like look, if like when I finally release my game, I'm gonna say when. I'm no longer going with ifs. I'm saying when. When I finally release my game, if you pirated it, look, I'm just happy you're enjoying it. I hope you like it. If you pirate it and brag about it, you're kind of an asshole. I'm a small indie developer, damn you. But no, like legitimately.
I'm going to be an asshole. Fuck you. I'm voice acting in that. I want my royalties, bitch.
But yeah, the games preservation is something that's can be accomplished via relatively easy means for most games nowadays. There are a lot of games that have had their source code like dropped, but there's solutions. I mean, you can create some kind of emulator and run that. It's difficult, but it'd be such a good way of being able to play a lot of these games again. Like Jak and Daxter on PlayStation 5 right now is not a perfect way of playing the PS2 original. It's got a lot of problems, but like at least it's there. At least it's got like that re-release.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully generations down the line, my grandchildren will be able to at least like look at the kind of things that I grew up and enjoyed.
That's why I collect a lot of vinyl, because I want my kids to enjoy the same music I did growing up, and then I want them to be inspired from that and then find their own stuff to enjoy.
Yeah.
So they can essentially do the same thing.
Yeah, with these kind of re-releases, like, generations are going to be able to play Paper Mario Thousand Year Door that never grew up with it. There are generations that are going to get to play games like Super Mario Brothers. Like Super Mario Brothers 1 is always going to have a way to play it again, right? Super Mario 64, there's always going to be a way to play it again. No one's remaking Glover.
I didn't even see you grab that. For all I knew, you just grabbed that out of your infinite asshole pocket. Like, just actual video game move just pulled right here. No one's going to be able to play Glover. You son of a bitch.
I've been Meeks. And what's your name, buddy?
This is the best way to end it.
What is your name, buddy?
GalicEnder.
And this has been
Geeks.
Thank
you for watching, everyone.
Good night, everybody. I'm so glad that Glover bit hit.